Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about a remarkable and unhinged order, or so he seems to think it's an order, by Trump that is really just a complete kind of dyspeptic diatribe on Truth Social, calling for massive anti-immigration enforcement actions, and expressly, it's just stunning, against cities, and not just any cities, big cities and not just any big cities, big democratic cities. So he comes out with this Truth Social complete crazy discourse that sounds like, a mentally ill patient standing up on a bus and just completely spewing stuff. So Trump talks about we have to expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles. So there you go. He's announcing all the unnecessary and really provoked by him mess and violence and chaos in LA is going to continue. But Chicago and New York, that's what he mentions, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside, these and other such cities are the core of the Democrat Power Center, where they use illegal aliens to expand their voter base. Illegal aliens may not vote. Everyone knows they may not vote. It's a felony if they try to vote. Cheat in elections, same thing. And grow the welfare state, robbing good paying jobs and benefits from hardworking American citizens. Again, just upside down. The fact of the matter is it's blue America that totally supports the social welfare net of red America. But this is, so first of all, he does seem to think there's been no White House order. This has no force of law. It has the force of a guy standing up and going into a crazy tirade on a bus. But he says ICE officers, Immigration Customs Enforcement officers, are herewith ordered by notice of this truth in all caps. So literally, he thinks he is governing by social media to do all in their power to achieve the very important goal of delivering the single largest mass deportation program in history. It's stunning, and it may well be followed with an actual order that says something like this. You would think the order would be struck down in a minute and a half. For starters, it's astonishing that it basically right on the surface says, go after Democrats. It's a flagrant First Amendment violation. They must know that in some way. And there's some part of this game by Trump, I think, that wants to be foiled or wants to go to court, fight in court, and maybe even lose in court to somehow continue to adopt the role of crusader for the forgotten Americans in red states and have those same members of the MAGA base up in arms when judges, supposed elite, unelected judges, strike things down. But I mean, talk about leading with your chin. So he says it's the core of the Democratic Power Center, and then continues to just issue a series of totally false charges. And guess where he goes from there? These radical left Democrats are sick of mind, hate our country, and actually want to destroy our inner cities. And they're doing a good job of it. There's something wrong with them. That is why they believe in open borders, transgender for everybody, and men playing in women's sports. Like, how did we go from there? So it's the wedge issue. I mean, pretty much all that sort of worked for him. And this includes the election. There's every reason to think the transgender issue actually brought people to the polls in his favor. But this complete apparent psychotic tirade is a greatest hits, but it's meant to prepare the way for unwelcome and intrusive conflict in the biggest states in the country, the ones that are apparently most reviled by the MAGA faithful, like Chicago and New York. So we're looking for a repeat of what's going on in LA. Now, if you're looking at it in sober political terms, you could notice that kind of everything he has done, the executive orders are being struck down by, I think we're pushing 200 decisions. He has zero legislative accomplishments to point to, and this latest effort to try to get Congress as a whole to ratify some of the DOGE cuts looks like quite the uphill battle. But this is the thing he can always do. These screeds that set Americans against one another and give the complete false impression of that in blue states there's all kinds of invading marauders who are ruining the cities. And then finally gin up this federal state. This is what's really distinctive about what he's done legally, is he's forcing himself on the states who do not want him. The only remote precedent, we've talked about this, for doing federalizing National Guard and what might be coming next, the use of Marines as law enforcement officers, was in the heyday of the Civil Rights era, when governors refused the mandate to enforce federal law by letting African-American children go to school. This situation where the different cities are handling it fine, he wants to go in, start a fire, pour gasoline on that fire, and then use it in the most dishonest way, reminiscent of the campaign, to say he, Donald Trump, and he alone is coming in to try to clean up this terrible Democratic mess. So in addition to everything else that happened, that Judge Breyer in Los Angeles, we talked about this in another YouTube, has said to strike down what he did in LA. Of course, you have to note that is right now in the Ninth Circuit. It may change, but this extra complete blanketing of just big Democrat cities has this glaring flaw that it's obviously not just political, though it is obviously political, but so driven by Democrat identity, i.e. viewpoint, i.e. a rank First Amendment violation. Crazy, like a nut on a bus is really, when you read this, this posting, what it looks like. Second, a announcement. It's right. Oh, it's only a social media post right now, but look for it to try to become a actual order, and soon, since it's obviously what he wants. Third, absolutely sets cities and states against feds and Democrats against Republicans in a way that's not only unnecessary and inflammatory, but it puts us almost on a civil war footing in this country. And four, no real prospect of some kind of temporary cabined activity. He wants to, it would be the work of years to get all the, to finish what he's calling is the most largest anti-immigrant raid in the country. So does this just go on and on and on, where he tries to remain an invading force until the courts close it down, or even not? Maybe some places they permit it, or some places he tries to defy them, or he delays. And all the while, unlike sort of legal efforts that prejudice badly, a small number of individuals like aliens or the like. This is a sort of broader war on U.S. Democrat cities. This is the kind of, authoritarian moves against actual metropolitan population centers that I don't think we have seen in this country, and certainly not, depending on how you frame things, in the 20th or 21st century. So he's nuts. He's over the top in his reach into big cities, and it looks like it's going to continue into what could be a hot and crazy summer in the United States in 2025. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.